Testing. Hello, everybody on Facebook. Hello, everyone on Matt's stream. This is Guitar with Matt Heafy. Thank you for being here.
Of course. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it. Sorry about the time change thing. Like we were just saying to each other, I cannot believe that the whole planet is not on the same freaking time zones. Like the time zone change. You guys had yours. Ours is this Sunday, or actually next Monday. And so we're preparing, like, what do we do for our kids? And I think Australia had theirs a week before yours. This makes no sense because I don't even think farmers like it. Maybe they do. I don't think I could speak for farmers, but who knows?
I've heard a lot of stuff that they've been talking about changing it for a good amount of time now. So maybe that will happen eventually.
Definitely should.
Okay, so I'm going to basically... Oh, I've just started your stream there. So basically, I'm going to keep an eye on the comments as well as I can. We got some questions lined up for you as well. And we can kind of just do it how you like. If you've got a setup to play as well, then we can
I do
that too, however you want to do it. So cool. First thing I wanted to ask you really is, obviously it's 2020, so it wouldn't be an interview in 2020 without first asking you, how you coping.
1 second, sorry.
No problem, man.
I just switch audio stuff too. Say that one more time.
I was just saying it's 2020, so it wouldn't be an interview in 2020 without asking you first just how you're coping with things, how you're getting on.
I'm doing well, thankfully. I'm lucky that I started live streaming about 3.5, maybe almost 4 years ago on a platform called Twitch, which we are currently on right now as well. So the infrastructure was already there. It was ready in case anything like this ever happened. So basically, as soon as this happened, my stream was still going on. And over the last couple of years, I've been trying to instruct people what Twitch is. Trying to port your audiences, I'm sure that you guys have noticed, is difficult from one platform to another. So once this all went down, the channel was already there, and we were able to give people a place to be. And the way I look at our channel is the same way I look at our band. It's a place whether people need this to be their bar, their church, their therapist house, their gym, their punching bag, their whatever it is, that's what this channel is here for them. Same way our band is. So I'm glad that this has been able to go on for this.
Yeah, and it's great because you obviously, I saw this week you've been doing actual streams of like gigs and stuff as well, and you're kind of doing that every day, and playing games and doing guitar playthroughs and stuff like that. And I've got a few questions to do with all of that later down the line anyway, so it'd be good. I mean, we can talk about it whenever you like, but I just think it's really cool. It's that kind of this new age of dealing with what we've kind of got, and it seems like you're doing that really, really well at the moment.
Thank you. Yeah, it's all about adaptation. Since our band has been around, we've definitely been thrown a lot of curveballs, and nothing ever like this. But when we saw this happen, we never thought to ourselves to just sit and wait for things to go back to quote normal. And for us, it's always been about evolving ourselves in a way how we can be appropriate to the situation. So when we saw this happen, like, all right, we're not going to delay our record. That was the first question that we were approached with. Will you push your album? We said we will not, because we want to give people that escape, that hour of relief. Our music is basically already quote free. It's on streaming services, depending if people are using the free one or the paid one. And we wanted to just get out there. We didn't care about quote album sales. We didn't care about any of that. We just wanted to give people relief and fun and entertainment. Same idea of the stream. So then we knew, as we looked at ourselves, that all right, this is going to be going a little bit longer than I think a lot of people are aware of. What else can we do? And that's when we put together that A Light or a Distant Mirror show. We've been a very, very careful band with our money since the beginning. We've always made sure that we've not taken giant sums of money. Basically, Trivium has only ever taken one raise since becoming cash positive, and that raise was for a health insurance stipend, because you all know how affordable our health insurance is here in America. So we had to give ourselves several $100s more a month to be able to afford health insurance, or kind of not even really afford it. And so we've been very frugal with our money, and we've always put it back into the pot so we can keep paying ourselves during time off in case of a rainy day like this. So we decided let's take a risk. Let's take this money that we have here and actually buy staging. Let's hire Muse's stage director and build video walls that can coordinate with our show and find an incredible venue and rent a venue and do a paid for show that we can do correctly. And that was what A Light or Distant Mirror was. And at the time, it was the highest grossing like live metal streaming event, and was 100% live. Nothing was fixed. It was exactly in the moment live, which is something that I guess not all bands are capable to do. It doesn't have to be done, but we said to ourselves, because we all stream on Twitch and we've been on streaming on Twitch for so long, that we wanted it to be 100% live. We wanted it to be just us. And you can, my friend who inspired me to start streaming music on Twitch actually texted me after the show. He's like, I wouldn't have known until the snare drum broke. And he's like, I really liked that moment in A Lighter America. He's like, I couldn't tell if you guys were live or not. And then when that happened, he's like, oh, yep, there it is. And he said that was like a really human moment. We did 2 free shows on Twitch as well. The first one was like 20,000 plus people viewing that one for free, which was awesome. And then the pay for one was about 12,000 plus. So it's been great. And daily, 5 days a week, I stream 2 times a day. On tour, it's typically 7 days a week I'm streaming if we're not flying or traveling. And it's in our blood. I feel like just like metal, it's something that you have to live, and we all live the live streaming thing.
That's great. I mean, it's really great to just kind of have that connection, as you say, like at the moment with the way that the world kind of is, it's pushing stuff back and delaying things. People still need that sort of release and still need that music. And it's really cool to still be able to connect in a way that, it's not necessarily going to a show, but at least it's something, isn't it?
Absolutely.
So obviously we're a guitar shop, guitar. So I figured it's probably a good opportunity as well to talk a little bit about your guitar, your signature guitar. Of course, you've got the Epiphone Les Paul Custom, which I believe is based on a Gibson Custom that you had, Les Paul Custom.
Yep.
Cool.
It is based off of my original one that I have over there. It's the 4th one down from here. It's like the very first Les Paul Custom I was ever given. I was very lucky. Obviously, my father got me a Les Paul Custom when I was 11/12 years old. So very lucky that I had that. My signature has been based off of that. And I basically sent my old one to Epiphone/Gibson, said, copy this as best as you can in this price point. And I said a big reason, because I've been asked over the years, like, Matt, why don't you have a signature Gibson? And I was like, well, I want something that is good enough for me and that is correct for me for studio live. And I don't want there to be different tiers. I don't want it I remember when I was a kid, I walked up to my favorite guitar player's signature guitar in the store. I was like, oh, I can have that. That's not that expensive. And I found out, he plays the $5,000 or $10,000 model, and that's the $800 model. I was like, all right, well, I don't like that feeling. So I wanted to make something where it's the same thing, the same exact guitar. I make sure that before tours, Epiphone ships me the same ones from the same boxes of the same factory that everyone else buys to my place, set them up, bring them on tour. What's amazing is we just took a risk with doing my signature guitar in the very first. We're like, all right, we'll do 1,000. We'll do 1,000, see if they sell out in 5 years or whatever. They all sold out in a couple months. My guitars, both editions of the black, both editions of the white, have been completely sold out around the planet. I believe there might be a couple left in a couple stores. Hopefully you guys have a couple if people are looking. But we decided that since we did call them limited, we're not going to make any more. So they're discontinued for good. And we've been working on the next edition, a black and white 6 and 7 so 4 total with some improvements in my eyes, or not even necessarily improvements, but maybe evolutions to the design.
Mm-hmm. Well, my question was going to be, obviously, you have this Les Paul Custom, your Gibson one that you've had since you were a kid. What particular elements and specs of that guitar were the things that you had to have on your own artist signature? What parts of that were just a necessity for you for show night by night, every show you play?
For me, it was the weight, because I still don't love light guitars all the time. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. But I had to make it have that Gibson Les Paul Custom weight, which is something a lot of male guitar players have cried about. They're like, this is too heavy. Our female guitar players who own my guitars have never mentioned that ever. They've never said this is too heavy, but I keep seeing people tag me like, hey, Matt, your guitar is too heavy. But it's always dudes saying, these are way too heavy for me. But that's what a Les Paul Custom is supposed to weigh. It's supposed to be heavy. It's supposed to have that tonality. So for the evolution of mine, I do want to do a chambered. I do want to do it lighter for me, but I'm still going to be using both models. So the weight was a big thing with me, because I felt like that was something that really incorporated the tone properly. I wanted to have the correct pickups, which obviously recently have changed, and I feel like the pickups that we're using now are even better, using Fishman Fluence Moderns. I'm about to release a signature version of those as well that will be in my upcoming Epiphones, and then anyone that wants to switch in, they can pick those up and put those in the old models if they want to. But so they know I do use both versions with the old pickups and the new pickups live and off stage and stuff like that.
Because the Fluences, obviously, you can kind of get more than one sound out of one pickup. But what kind of tones are you getting out of those out of those Fishmans? What sort of things are you looking for out of
Well,
those?
for me, what I noticed, the first place, like I decided to just try them for a show. I was like, this will be the best way to try them in a show. And the best way to describe it is, it doesn't make sense because it's not what it is, but it's zero latency playing. Like I felt like there was a slight delay when I'd use other pickups between my pick striking the string and what I'd be hearing or feeling. And when I play the Fishmans, it's faster than before. So I noticed I was playing much more on time, much more accurately, and it really emphasizes the natural tone of my playing. And that's been what I've been pretty obsessed with for those. So it'll have my Fishmans. It'll have the option through a couple of vendors for Evertune. It's not going to be like worldwide available, but we're going to see which vendors want to have an exclusive couple of Evertune models, because that is a model I use. I use Evertune MKHs where I've retrofitted, and I use some that don't have them as well.
Awesome. And I think that's kind of a good sort of segue into my next question, because obviously Evertunes, if people that are watching don't know, it's a bridge system which basically stops your strings from ever kind of going out of tune. It's almost like magic in a way.
Yes.
Whenever you play one of those. They're very strange, but very cool. Obviously you get a lot of use out of your guitars. You gig, you're streaming, you're recording stuff all the time. If you had any sort of like tips for anyone sort of wanting to, what sort of thing do you do on a day in, day out basis to kind of keep your guitars maintained, keeping them nice and fresh?
I'm very spoiled that I have a guitar tech, and we try to keep our guitar tech still going on during the pandemic. So anytime I need to get them all teched up, we hire them for the day or a couple days, depending on who they're working for. If it's Corey has 4 times as many guitars as I do, so his days take much longer than mine. Sure. Like that, but luckily, since they're not being toured with, they're just sitting in this room. I'm not having to change the strings as much. I don't like changing strings. I don't know anyone that likes changing strings. If you do, you can change my strings all day long, because I just don't like it. But thankfully, with them not being banged around in a trailer or a truck, they've been in good shape, so I don't have to maintain them as much. Anytime I need to, I hit up my guitar tech. My guitar tech is Ken, lead guitar player of Obituary, who's also one of the greatest bands in the world. They just did a couple really successful live stream shows as well. So I hit him up. We have him come down to our warehouse. And actually, we're about to be moving out of that, and Trivium just purchased an airplane hangar, which will be turning into our recording studio, jam room, stream live show thing, basically the HQ, like a multimedia HQ that we're going to be moving into soon.
That's amazing. I saw that the rest of the guys in the band also stream as well, so that's a lot of fun. Cool. So you spoke a little bit about when you were younger, looking at that artist signature on the wall. Growing up, sort of what guitarists kind of influenced you in that way to kind of want to get into guitar? Who were sort of the main names that kind of got you there?
I first picked up a guitar because it seemed like the cool thing to do, like when I was 11 or so. And my first love was pop punk. I was into Blink-182, Real Big Fish, Less Than Jake. I tried it for a pop punk band who was called Freshly Squeezed at the time. They were 1 year above me. My tryout song was Damn It by Blink-182. I tried out, thought I was great, thought I was going to make it, never got a call back. I was like, all right, this sucks. I'm done. I'm done with guitar. I'm done with music. A couple months later, a kid lent me this all black CD. It's called Metallica. I was like, all right, I'll check this out. Never really heard metal before. I listened to it, and I said, this is the kind of music I'm meant to make. This is the kind of stuff I want to make for a living. And I just practiced until I was able to properly emulate those songs. Next thing, I was in 7th grade at the time, so 8th grade, I played my talent show, played No Leaf Clover, and this high school kid who was 2 or 3 years my senior came up to me and said, hey, I want you to try out for my band. It's a high school band called Trivium. They'd been around for 2 weeks, the original lineup. I won't give any last names, but it was Brad, Matt, a different Matt, Jared Bonaparte. Oops, I gave the last name. Sorry, Jared. You're fine. People, I think that's already public record anyway. So it was Brad, Matt, Jared, and Travis. That was the original lineup. The original guitar player, Matt, left the band before they ever really did a practice. I tried it for the band, made it into the band. Then our original singer left after about 2 to 4 months or so. He wanted the band to be an industrial band like Rammstein, Old Skinny Puppy, Old Nine Inch Nails, Ministry, that kind of thing, and we wanted to be a metal band. So he said, you know what, keep the name, let's split the songs in half, let's go our separate ways.
Very cool.
But sorry, I didn't answer your question. So it was Metallica that got me really into it, Hetfield that really encouraged me to be a frontman, because I didn't want to be a frontman at first. I didn't know if I could sing. I didn't want to sing. We couldn't find a singer. So Travis said to me one day, as we kept trying out local people that were terrible, he's like, you're going to sing. I was like, I can't sing. He's like, you'll figure it out. So that was a good thing he did that.
That's awesome. I guess what you're really trying to say is that you wouldn't be where you are now if it wasn't for ska music. That's what I got from from that, or
Yes.
was that
Yes.
okay?
Yes.
Just glad we
But
could
one
clear
of the
that up.
greatest records of all time, which isn't just a ska record, but that I've been re-listening to a lot, Mighty Mighty Boss Tones, Let's Face It, is one of the greatest records of all time that does not get enough credit. Lyrically, like, it was about like societal issues, anti-racism, anti-sexism. Like, it was a very incredible record, and I think that that's one that I've been revisiting. Like, I put it on for when my kids are playing and stuff, and they're super stoked. So that record, actually, I noticed that me wanting to delve into more societal things was probably more from Mighty Mighty Boss Tones than a lot of other bands, and I kind of realized that.
That's awesome. You just spoke a little bit about sort of Trivium's history, and I believe your first full-length record that you released, were you 17 when you
Ember to
wrote
Inferno, when I wrote it, some of the songs was when I was maybe 15, 16, but it came out when I was 17.
Right.
But I joined the band when I was about 12 going on 13 years old.
Wow. So you literally, your school
First band,
band,
first job. First band, first job.
That's incredible. So if you could talk to that young Matt Heafy now, and you could give him a little bit of advice or have a little pep talk with him, what would you say now?
Nothing. I would say nothing. Nothing. Not even to, hey, don't be the cocky bastard you're about to be in the UK when you're 18. I wouldn't even correct that, because everything that we did, that I did, highs and lows, all led me to where I am right now. Like, I used to think like, all right, what if I change this and this? But everything was essential to where we are right now.
That's great. So this is a question that I always kind of ask myself and ask my friends whenever we're kind of hanging out and stuff. If you could collaborate with any artist, living or dead, one person, who would it be?
Ishan from Emperor, and I've already done it. Our record, my solo project, Ibaraki, I've been working on for the last 10 years with Ishan from Emperor, comes out next year. I got some mixes in last night, and I couldn't believe how good it is. So that should be out sometime next year. But he's the one I've always wanted to work with, and he's co-wrote a couple of songs, produced the entire thing, and I'm very, very fortunate to be able to have made that happen.
That's awesome. Do you find that, like, collaborating with people that you haven't necessarily done before? Because I know you did like the Roadrunner stuff like years and years ago. So you've obviously collaborated and done stuff with a lot of different people. How do you kind of find that sort of helps your writing and your playing? Do you find you've learned new things from that?
I mean, I don't always do that, like true collaboration with. I'm up for. I've done a lot of guesting things, which, I mean, that's sometimes you write for it, sometimes it's previously written for you. Mm-hmm. The amount of time I spend with my Trivium guys, like, those are the main people I'm collaborating with. And a big thing that we've really re-honed in on is how essential it is to have the band itself in the room together, making that music together. Because that's something that, I know it sounds like a very obvious thing that people are like, well, of course, that's what bands are supposed to do. But that's sort of where bands have gone away from. There are band mechanics or dynamics where there's one or two main songwriters, or they hire songwriters, or they have a songwriter or a team of songwriters writing songs for them. Or there's like one guy who writes on a laptop, say, hey, here's how you play it. We've done those records ourselves, but since having Alex, it's been all about recapturing what it is to be a band in the very first place, in the very purest form, for people in a room making the kind of music that they want to play and that they want to hear. So that method of collaboration has been really amazing. But to speak on your note of with someone else, with Ishan, it's been incredible, and he has never produced someone outside of his own stuff. So him doing that, I told him, I was like, you're one of the best producers I've ever worked with. You should absolutely do this. So I think he's going to start segueing into actually producing bands, which I think it's going to be a huge addition to the pool of amazing producers that there are. I think he's going to be something like a formidable producer for many bands.
Awesome. Thanks for that, Matt. I'm just going to, I've just had a little note saying that I am on the wrong live stream on our Facebook. So just 2 seconds. I'm just gonna
welcome
switch
to live
over
streaming.
No, I know
it's always something.
I just want to go onto the right page.
No worries. We got the right page right here. Oh, don't worry about it. We've got the right.
That's
page
it.
Right here.
I'm almost too scared to go onto your Twitch and see the number of people that are watching right now.
I mean, there are a couple people doing friendly laughing faces right now.
Let's get this going on the right page.
There's a couple lulls going on right now.
I know this is the technical proficiency that I'm showing.
I have something happen every day. My camera or my audio didn't work this morning, and then the camera stopped working, and then
I was just watching. I was watching some of your videos of the Miku stomp.
Oh, that thing's amazing.
I mean, it doesn't. I don't think it really matters what technical difficulties you have, as long as you have that in your arsenal, you're fine.
My good friend sent it to me, and it stopped working when it showed up. So it took me 3 texts to fix it. Finally, I fixed it. Then Korg was like, "Hey, we'd love to do stuff together," and they sent me their last Miku that exists in America. So I have the last Miku.
It was. I saw it in the big box, but I'm guessing that was that was on your behalf.
Yeah, that was a guitar box.
Right, let's try and do this right. Guitar. Here we are. Have you been an imposter on Among Us yet?
Oh yeah, a couple times. Yesterday I got to play with like the best Among Us players in the world, actually, which was pretty crazy. So I was a little scared, but they were nice, they were welcoming, and it went pretty decently.
Cool. I think we are. I'm just going to confirm because I don't want to get it wrong a second time, because then that's just.
I've had that happen. It's fine. That's why we were talking about stuff that's live, why a lot of people don't want to do things fully live, because this kind of stuff can absolutely happen. This could have happened during our paid show or our free show, and
of course
stuff happens.
Well, it segues very nicely into my next question that I was going to ask you. But let's just check it's going. I think it's working. Let's just assume it is. Thanks for that. Thanks for that short intermission there. So the thing that I was going to ask really is live shows on Twitch. Obviously, it's not the same as having, you know, a room full of people singing back to you, and you know, there's something special about that kind of atmosphere that you're kind of never going to get live streaming, I guess. But in terms of positives, and I know we kind of already briefly touched on this, what are things that you can do in a live stream scenario that you just would not be able to do in a venue scenario? What are the positives of doing it that way around?
I mean, for us, we've been trying to incorporate more and more of that live feel. So when we did our paid show, like we've all been streaming on Twitch for years, and what Twitch is at the essence which is what some bands, maybe some people don't understand, at its core, it's viewer plus host engagement. That's the main thing, the two-way communication between the host and the viewers. So when we did a Lighter to Samira, it was strange because we did not have that. Like, we've been used to that, because like when I do home album playthroughs or streams, I get to watch the chat and talk to them, interact with them, and that's really what live streaming is all about. It's not about me focusing on just what I'm doing. It's about focusing on them as well. So Lighter to Samira, it was strange to not interact with anybody. So after that, we said, what can we do to evolve that further? And I think we're going to start seeing a lot more bands doing this for their live streams, or talking about, you know, you see people use like buzzwords like immersion and interactive. The main thing that needs to happen is the chat. So what we started doing for our Twitch shows that we've been doing, just having our phone up there with chat and actually talking to them like we would talk to a crowd. And so I have emotes on my channel that are all about what crowds would do at a show: circle pits, jumping, haze, all this stuff. So that actually felt more like a show than we've had in a year, because we haven't played a real show in a year. So I think the next level of something like the next time we do a paid for event is having that, being able to still connect with the chat while we're doing that. And that's what I feel viewership wants more than anything. I don't feel that people want VR plugin. I don't feel like people want any of that stuff or any extra graphics. They just want great sound and to be able to truly interact just like they would with the show. And so we've been investigating that. And like I said, we've been very public about that. So I feel like you'll start seeing bands do that a lot more and more after we started mentioning that.
I mean, it's just such a weird world to be in, isn't it? Where like, I love it because it's all about adapting and kind of going with the flow with it. And you've definitely done that. And I have to tune in live at some point, because it's one of those things you always go, I'm going to go watch that, and then you miss it and you kind of watch the replays and everything like that.
That's the biggest way to understand it. Like I've had people talk to me about how they said, like, I don't understand Twitch, or like, I don't quite get it, or what is it? I'm like, you just have to throw yourself into it to understand truly what it is. And then once you're in there and you're able to engage with the people around you, it does feel just like you're in a room with people again. And while we can't have that exactly as it is, this is the next best thing. And for me, it's something that I've had alongside when the world wasn't like this. So it's an incredible place. I feel like I've become a better singer, screamer, lead guitar player, rhythm guitar player, frontman, speaker, all that stuff through streaming so much, because I do 5 days a week, 4 to 6 hours a day off tour, and then that 4 to 6 hours a day, 7 days a week on tour. So it's something that hopefully you're getting better at the things that you're doing while you're doing it.
So thanks for that, by the way. One of the things that I always find with like being a modern musician, and obviously I think Trivium are a band that have been around, long enough to kind of see the industry change. And, we've gone from physical releases to something which is a lot more sort of stream heavy, and everything's kind of on the internet now. And maybe it wasn't so much like that 10, 15 years ago. Being a musician in the modern day, I personally find involves a lot more than just being able to sort of play an instrument. And you're someone who I know does a lot of like production stuff. You're obviously quite technologically savvy when it comes to, not just playing music, but also, gaming, et cetera, et cetera. How important do you think it is, to have that just vast variety of skills?
I'm
being a musician.
Very, very bad at technological stuff. I'm very lucky that all my moderators are these people that are much younger than me, both in brain and spirit, and that they help me with so many things. I can't count the amount of times I'm texting my mods and they're laughing right now. They'll be like, I can't do this. What the hell do I do? And I'll like be freaking out, and they'll help me. So you got to know when you can lean on people. I know the things I'm good at. I'm good at playing Trivium. I'm not the best guitar player or the singer or screamer or the biggest band or the best gamer or any of this stuff, but I know what I am good at, and I try to hone in and only do those things. Like, I don't like to do things that I'm not good at. I'm a slow learner. I don't know music theory. There are a lot of things I don't know, but I like to figure out things the way that I do them. Gear I didn't quite understand. I didn't understand mic placements. I had given up on quote real heads for a while and pedals, and I said I'm never using a pedal or a head again. And lo and behold, now I'm like a head collector and a pedal collector, and I'm working on mic placements. And so it's things that you start to delve into and learn and figure out as you go. But sometimes you have to know when to lean on the correct people, because I think that's another thing when you see like bands that are self-producing records. Sometimes that's good, but sometimes it's really great to have an outside ear. And I'm lucky that my band members, that we don't run our band like a dictatorship. I'm not saying that any bands do, but we've heard things, we've seen things. It's very much so all for one for all. If I do something that I think is amazing and it's not that great, one of my band guys will, depending on the situation, help guide me to a better path. And I think that's very important for people to have a level head to take in outside advice when something might not be right or something could be better, or when you can lean on someone to do something better than something else. And same thing with the channel. I lean on the channel a lot. What do you think of this, and this? Like, what do you think of this idea? And making sure that it's not just about what I want, but it's about like the greater good.
Yeah, because you've obviously got quite an active community of people who, communicate with you, and you can kind of figure out the sort of things that people, respond better to than others, and kind of go from there, I guess.
Mm-hmm. And the big thing with when it comes down to the live streaming aspect of it is it's all about authenticity. Like I always tell streamers, do what you love to do. Like you have to love the streaming aspect of it. If you don't, they're going to be able to tell pretty quickly, because you're basically live all the time. There's not really a hiding the fact if you don't love what you're doing.
So I've noticed that in the past you said a lot of stuff about a lot of like UK upcoming metal bands, and also just UK bands in general. To name a few: Employed to Serve, Venom Prison, not so much a metal band, but Creeper as well. I've seen you've spoken about in the past. If you had do you have any sort of bands at the moment that you got your eye on that you kind of think are kind of up and coming that are worth checking out for people that are sort of watching at home?
There are so many. I've got a playlist of a lot of this stuff. I've been really obsessed with Ingested lately. They had me just guest on one of their new videos, which is awesome. They're about to do a live stream show as well, so anyone wanting to support UK bands, Loathe is incredible. Another UK band. I'm looking at my top albums of the year. Yeah, I've like you mentioned, I absolutely love Venom Prison, love them as people, love Employed to Serve. Hopefully, we could tour with them. Creeper, I actually love so much. I was able to see them in Orlando, which was awesome when they were down here. I look forward to seeing what they're doing next. See, the relationship with the UK is obvious. Like, we're a band that was born in the US but adopted by the UK, and I feel like I grew up in the UK from like 18 to 28, and the UK had a very interesting. We have a very interesting relationship with the UK because when we first came out, it was the only territory, and it was the only time and place still in Trivium's history that we were the press band. Every magazine cover, everyone said we're going to be the next greatest thing in the world, the biggest band in the world, and that lasted about 9 or 10 months. People think it was a multi-year thing. It was 9 or 10 months, and then the very next record, they said we're the worst band in the world. So I equate our relationship with the UK is that we are Jon Snow, and we were banished, and then now we're beloved again. But hopefully we can rewrite season 8, right?
We don't talk about that. We don't
yes.
talk about that.
Yes. Embodiment as well is an incredible new death metal band of the UK. Freaking amazing. Everyone, I am so excited to see what Architects has been able to do. The fact that they sold out Alexandria Palace. 10,000 people to see such a heavy, unique, incredible band, a band that's been inspiring so many other metalcore and metal bands around the planet. So there's so much good stuff coming out of the UK right now. While She Sleeps are very good friends of ours. We love them. So happy to see a new Silosis record. Love Silosis. The UK scene is incredible. Same with the German scene. The German scene has really taken off. We also have a good relationship with Germany that we were signed to a German record label first. It's the same place that Caliban, Heaven Shall Burn on Us. We all start off in the same metalcore label. It's all picking up. So I hate the fact that the planet is like this because I do think of the bands that are, like I said, we're a middle level band. Bands above us, they're fine. They don't have to do live streams. They don't want to. If they think live streams don't make sense, they don't have to do them. Bands our size, we have to do them to survive. We have to do them to pay our mortgage. We have to do them to pay our food bills. The bands below need it too, but the bands below might not even be able to have the resources to start a live show, to do those things, or to have the fan base. So I really feel for the bands in that tier that are, and I'm not saying they're below us, the bands that are, quote, smaller than us, which if you're speaking in truly relative terms. So I really am fearful for those bands, and I hope that everyone is buying merch or tuning their live streams when they can, and people are streaming them nonstop to support them.
Totally agree. I think it's a difficult world out there at the moment. Over here, so many people kind of there's so much uncertainty of when the next show is going to be, and it's the best thing I think anyone can do at the moment is just go out there, support their
people.
Favorite bands.
Yep.
Do everything
absolutely. You can. Do everything you can.
So obviously you've released an album this year. Congratulations. Sounds great. Have you got any more plans for the rest of the year? Anything else before the new year? Or
For us, I mean, Trivium is always up to something, so we usually keep those, even though I'm so public and people always know exactly what I'm doing, what I'm eating, what I'm working out the day of, what game I'm playing. We like to keep the Trivium cards close to our chest. So now that we've closed on that hangar, we're on to the next phase, and people can start to see what's happening from there.
Keep it nice and secret.
It's always something. But in the meantime, Ibaraki, which was called Mrityu, my 10-year, quote, black metal project, has really evolved. It's become like a Japanese black metal project with Ishan, and hopefully that sees a release by the beginning of next year.
That's awesome. I'm not sure how much time you have left, Matt. I actually... My entire Facebook screen is just not working. I can't see any comments, and I really wanted to go look at some comments.
You can go to my Twitch. They're all there.
This is what I was going to do. Let's go off your Twitch comments. Let's see if is there anyone there, sort of any questions for Matt that we can kind of talk about real quick.
Give me questions, friends. You want like playing questions, gear questions, guitar questions, technique questions, any question?
Maybe it would be great if just real quick if we could have a quick talk through one of your signature guitars or something like that. It'd be great to see that.
So this is one of the last MKH 7 strings, the original. Obviously I put some flourishes on it, my signature groove gear fret wraps. These are Fishman Fluence Moderns, the Evertune, my Richter dual strap. A lot of people are like, why does Matt, what I like too to to show things that are opposite that frustrate people. When I released this dual strap, so many guitar players got so upset and they were so mad about it to see this. They're like, why don't you just make a lighter guitar then? Or, well, how dare you have 2 straps? Even if it was a lighter guitar, even if the guitar weighed 2 pounds, I'd still rather use a dual strap than a single strap, because why put all the weight on one shoulder and off balance yourself? I'm pretty OCD, so I like to have things very
symmetrical, perfect.
Yeah, I like to have that yin and yang. But I also do like to beat my guitars up. Like, I don't mind when they're scratched up. My original has it's all wood here because it's been played out so much. And then signature picks from Dunlop. I'm basically Kiss, a modern day small garage band Kiss.
And that's am I right in saying that had the Fluences on them, that one as well, or is that? That
did. So when we see our next model, we're either going with Origins or Origin series. They're going to be modeled after the very first white and black Les Paul Custom that the world saw us with a couple little advancements. I do have a question here from this person I've never seen before, named Deformance. Matt,
yes,
do you prefer a short recording session in which everything is rehearsed beforehand, or would you rather go in less prepared and use the spark of the moment to write new material? Fantastic question. The former. With us in Trivium, the best way we do our records, because we've done the records where our producer has said to us to be loose and to not have the stuff committed to muscle memory, to not really worry about vocals when you go in there so it could be finished in the studio, which is a method that works for some bands. For us, we do not like to do that. We like to have things muscle memory, rehearsed, known, memorized perfectly within every fragment of ourselves before setting foot in the studio. But we're up for evolving it if it has to be. We're not going to be rigid, like, no, this is the way it is. If there's a better way, we'll do it. But we like to have things perfectly rehearsed. Same thing with me. I don't like to do anything in front of people, or even I don't like to do anything that's not properly rehearsed. I'm a slow learner, so I like to have things very, very memorized. May as well grab this question because I've been hit with it 10,000 times in the last 3 days. How do you feel about the DMCA stuff? Now, what's been happening is my channel as well, ever since every time I play Trivium, play Lawn of Trivium, it gets muted on Twitch, which I don't mind because it encourages people to watch live in the moment. What my channel understands, but maybe not everyone understands, I did a YouTube video that might even cover all the points better. There needs to be... What the music industry is seeing is that Twitch is taking off, and Twitch is incredible. I live in both worlds. I'm an assigned band to a record label that is a quote indie owned by a major label, and I am signed to Twitch as well. What the record label doesn't understand, or record industry doesn't understand, is, so let's say there's 1365 people in here right now. If I were to play a Trivium song, it would get 1 spin. They would want it to be 1366 for their accounting to make sure it gets those proper spins. It's figuring out how to make that happen. So if the biggest streamers in the world are, one of my favorite streamers in the world is Shroud, and he loves Trivium. So if he plays Trivium, it gets logged as 1 spin, even if he's got 100,000 people watching him. So the record industry wants it to be 100,001 spins counted for, so that they've got their accounts booked. And I see the argument of people saying, well, bands should be happy because they're getting free exposure, stuff like that. Yes, bands are happy. Record labels don't care. They're looking at numbers. They're looking at spreadsheets. They're looking at their investment. They're looking at their hundreds of millions of dollars they're pumping into bands, going into the studio, marketing it, all the people that they're paying under their payroll. Is why are these views of our music not getting accounted for? So it's figuring out how to make the two parties marry properly. Twitch and the music industry. I hope that something can happen. I'm currently talking to a startup right now that might be a solution. If this doesn't work, I'm trying to come up with a different plan. But I love both worlds. Roadrunner protects us. I think what people are getting confused with DMCA as well, if your stream is muted, that does not mean you've been hit with a DMCA strike. That's just like putting something on Instagram and it getting muted because it's copywritten music that's being recognized by a computer algorithm, so it mutes it. But hopefully we can figure out a way to make it where streamers can play their stuff. Because now, I mean, a big part of my channel was me learning songs from other bands or playing on top of pop songs, playing on top of Lady Gaga songs. But I've since segued away from that and only played Trivium stuff, which still, technically, even if I say it's fine to another streamer, you could play our stuff, and Roadrunner says it's fine, if the people that own Roadrunner are like, we don't like this, they have the final say. Same way that, Twitch is owned by Amazon. So there's always someone above something. So I'm hoping, because I love both worlds, I love being side of Roadrunner. They've done nothing but protect us. I am not the sole owner of our music. Even all of us in the band are not the sole owners of the music. It's also us and the label, and then our publishing company, and then people that co-own masters, and it goes so on and so forth. So it's a much larger issue than I think people recognize, and they think that bands are being greedy. They're not. Record labels who do not care about exposure, because exposure does not pay the bills. It does not pay the bills. Mm-hmm. I'm happy with it. I'm stoked. I would love to just give my music, like, here, play it. It's fine. It's amazing. Thank you. I appreciate it. But it does not pay the bills. So I hope that the two can come together, because I love both. Both are incredible. Twitch is the future. The recording industry the recording industry in the past has had to be brought up to speed on technology and the way music is moving. Twitch is the future. Twitch is the current, and music needs to figure out how to do that too.
Absolutely. As we already spoke about earlier on, this world of streaming, it's only getting bigger on the music side of things. So, being able to kind of figure out a way where those worlds can kind of coincide is I'm sure, a top priority for a lot of people at the moment.
Absolutely.
I'm looking through your comments as well. Someone asked who I am, and someone else said that I am Harry Potter if he fronted an alt rock band. So I'm fully integrated into the Twitch stream now.
I will tell you one thing: Twitch audience is faster and funnier than any other audience in the world. They're so fast, it's ridiculous. Things get memed so fast, it's crazy. Like, I mean, there's a Brian Johnson emote of me, like me as Brian Johnson. Simply because I do that noise sometimes, and now that exists. Like, it's so fast and it's amazing. And what I'm so lucky to, my Twitch channel is 99.5% positive. Whereas you look at other socials, I would scale it. It goes Instagram, Twitch, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, Facebook. And
sure,
it's just the way it is. But luckily we can control it a bit. If some of the negative or nasty, they don't have to be here. So it's nice. It's nice.
Well, yeah, Facebook has definitely let me down today, because I am trying frantically to look at the comments on our Facebook side of things. It looks like Facebook is down, so I have no idea what people are saying, but hi to everyone in Matt's stream.
And I'll pop this up too. So like everyone in my channel asking, or any of the new followers that are asking that they're not seeing something because of an ad, this will also be on YouTube as well afterwards. You can watch all of this stuff interruption free. Because you can also figure out how to run your channel. One of the things that we do on my channel, because it massively supports it, we never make anyone be a subscriber here. Like a subscriber, there's different tiers of it, but my channel is free. And what I do on my channel, this is also explains to people who keep complaining about the ads, I run 3 1-minute ads every 60 minutes. That's something I choose to do so that the free people that are following for free, which is fine by me, are able to still support the channel. So somehow I answered all of your complaints while I was doing this thing too.
Okay. I'm trying to see if we've got any other questions here. We've covered the guitar, we've covered the streams, we've covered the Miku Stomp as well, which is something I wanted to tick off the list. Let's have a look. In case anyone's wondering, by the way, I'm not going to try and shamelessly plug. My name's Vinny. I'm from Guitar. That's why I'm here. It's just in case anyone's wondering. I still can't get onto our stream.
That's all good. Everyone's very happy here. They're all very happy here.
Yeah. Well, thank you very much, everyone in the stream, for being so kind. I'm happy, Matt.
Awesome. Likewise. Thank you so much for moving this early. I'm sorry about the time change thing.
That's okay, no problem. Luckily, I was actually watching your stream, and I saw you kind of looking at when it was meant to be, and I thought, right, I'm gonna. If you can't tell, I'm actually in an office. Normally we do this on the shop floor, but masks and everything.
It's all good.
So I'm in a very boring white room right now.
It looks like a dressing room. I'm having flashbacks of being on tour.
With just like the lonely air conditioning control and everything. Thank you so much, Matt.
Awesome, of course, man. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
Look after yourself and have a good one.
Thank you.